And from now going, Abani should be ready. Say usro demonstrations and now usro se nipa be na no bekasa o man enti ye betiri obi ade na kosie so be na no kasa and no they should be ready to arrest almost everybody.
Mahama say culture of silence no enye ade da say wo mo MPP for say efri na ekoi wo mo e ba be ka mo no tumbiem na de mo ye na we bo wa ya chew akwaketo bi kura e post even just a common image yes ya chew no wo mo say de wo mo ni President John Dramani Mahama NDC amayiko no e be call boot for boot ade say ne de watch every single individual wo ye MPP ni watch mo nyina gum awusia ensema ogu na ka say wono President John Dramani Mahama no kawami kabinu anase kasa yenka na yemfan engu bi hu fi no wono President John Dramani Mahama wono ene sha se wo Ghana ha enti se ne akwa bi TikTok akwa bi social media na wo kan sem bia 7 previous ebi kura check akra na wo musua efe President John Dramani Mahama ho abusua kama ho na yonko na wo de wa kasa kokko bibra na ebiem efa reshuffle eye President John Dramani Mahama ene waye na wama Senator Ajima Roris wode eye Minister of Environment and Science and Technology no e de mana TV3 e de ho komo kakra e begu ho a eno so ye bobo bia no a ye di bi e abesomo na de ama Ghana for kasa na ebimu hu e wa se e ba na sen e na Ahmed Ibrahim eye Minister of Local Government and a chieftaincy ye no na ye de majority eye leader eye ura yarega and ha ko show na say NDC amayiko no so asan asesa owu ayalega ewo parliament house as leader of government business and I say majority leader na wo mode eye busa north masebidani eye James and ede abaho e ho nsem nyina no ego pron so a yenko na wo de wa kasa kokko TV bra neba ensem PTV initifo ebeto aso.
The dictate of Article 78 Clause 1 has submitted some names to Parliament in relation to fresh appointments to 2 portfolios and then a reshuffle of some ministers as well. Not a great list, but a list nonetheless in terms of, when I say great, I mean the numbers, right? But amongst many other things, the majority leader in Parliament is headed for a ministerial position under this present administration. I'm going to take you to the board right now and bring you details as to the statement that's just been released by the Minister for Government Communications, Felix Kwatiofosu, who has been providing a bit more in terms of details for us this afternoon. We're going to go straight to it right now this afternoon. And quickly, in relation to what the statement says, that President John Dramani Mahama has, in accordance with Article 78, submitted the names of the following to Parliament through the Speaker for prior approval as Ministers of State. 2 ministries, which we're going to be getting replacement for, as well as a reshuffle of some sort. Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, Dr. Zaneto Ajiman Rawlins is headed for that ministry as its substantive minister. That's the latest from the government. She will undergo parliamentary vetting, and so will the majority leader in Parliament as well, Mahama Ayariga, because he is to take over the place of Ahmed Ibrahim as the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. Mahama Ayariga, who is the majority leader of Parliament presently, is headed for the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. He as well will undergo parliamentary vetting pretty shortly. Then the President has reassigned the following ministers to the corresponding portfolios. Ministry of Defense will get in a substantive minister after a year. Honorable Kenneth Gilbert J. He was a deputy minister for Defense under President Mahama's first term. He is returning to the portfolio as a substantive minister. And then Ahmed Ibrahim, who has been the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, is going straight for Honorable Kenneth Gilbert J's position now as the Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources. And the both of them who are being reassigned will not go through a parliamentary vetting because they've already been vetted for a ministerial position. And so they will, I'm expecting with immediate effect as well, assume those specific roles and begin acting in accordance. But with the first two, Dr. Zaneto Agyemang-Rawlings, who's a member of parliament for Korle Klottey, will undergo parliamentary vetting when the House does return somewhere September thereabout. Then, the majority leader, when the House returns, there will be an election of some sort for him, for his replacement, right? But he will as well undergo a parliamentary vetting and now become a minister for local government, chieftaincy and religious affairs. By that alone, there is a vacancy in the majority leader position in parliament, and so the expectation is that the NDC caucus, both in parliament and then national leadership, will begin working around to find a replacement for who becomes majority leader in parliament, right? That's the Boku Central MP, Mahama Ayariga, who is now headed towards the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. That's the latest from the quarters of government. 1 year, right? And just this morning, there were conversations as well in relation to possible replacement a year on, amongst other things. Well, the consensus of the conversation will suggest that the president waited for a year with respect or paying respect to the gallant aides, particularly the two ministers of state, Dr. Edward Omanebuama, who was the Minister for Defense, and as well as Prof, right? Dr. Murtala Mohammed, who was the Minister for Environment, Science and Technology. They have replacements now, and that is what you're seeing on your screens as well. Dr. Zaneto Agyemang-Rawlings, who, by the way, Justice Atuguba was speaking at a parliamentary event about some weeks ago, was asking questions as to why she had not been given a ministerial position, as to whether or not that made any influence the conversations. You and I both cannot tell, but they were commenting that regard just a few weeks ago, a former justice of the Supreme Court asking questions as to why she had not been made a minister just as yet under this administration. Well, she is a minister now, pending the approval of Parliament. Well, you can work the math, right? With an overwhelming majority, it presupposes she is almost in the ministry and will be the next minister for Environment, Science and Technology. Then as well will be Mahama Ayariga, right? That's him. He is the present majority leader in parliament. In fact, at the last time of check, when the House was going on recess, he wasn't present in the House. It was the deputy majority leader, Ricketts, who gave that closing address on his behalf, and he is now headed towards the Ministry for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs. This is currently the Minister for Works and Housing, right? It's Water, Sanitation, Resources. Honorable Kenneth Gilbert J. He is headed towards the Ministry of Defense. He was Deputy Minister of Defense under President Mahama's first term. He was a deputy minister, and in fact, in the lead up to the conversations, there were suggestions that he would have gone back to that ministry, but he got a substantive role under the administration as the Minister for Works and Housing and Water Resources. He is returning to the Defense Ministry, this time not as a deputy, but as a substantive minister, a year on, and will take up the position. And I mentioned, remember, that because he underwent vetting already to become the Minister for Works and Housing, the expectation is that he will assume office straight and will not need parliamentary approval as well. And so, with immediate effect, really, he is the Minister for Defense. Then, Ahmed Ibrahim, who was the Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, now will replace or will take over the slot as Minister for Works, Housing and Water Resources. He's replacing
True New Patriotic Party, Penifone party members, sympathizers. Enra na mitiemo a na chese na mukra na bibie na mo sheda ni GD.
Yes.
So yes, Oba organizers abaso, but edun pempen so say Oba Ghana for abaso. If you say Oba organize said na Ghana for ni GD wo dwumadie no na omini enthusiasm na omi show up say when I show up no say there's a misquiet in the country. The silence is so loud. Now the average Ghanaian who know nam ho din na okono mi na no nkasa na yawdie no ebufuhye ne mu enti opportunity bi ba say ya ana nipa EPA, the friend of ventilation.
Ventilate anger, no.
Exactly. Or mine, seven previous and farmer will be also near Jumantic Amfa. NDC in government, near Omni Ghana for kind, and so fresh. The paginum now the echo sona and also so a different from Domini kind. That's a input or how cranny which they were more. That can be